Hello everybody, my name is Ru and welcome back to my cozy corner of booktube, Ru with the Books. In this video, I'm going to be answering some questions in the slightly belated New Year, New Me book tag. Thank you to David G for tagging me. It's always a little treat to do one of these book tags because it's fun answering questions about books. I like talking about books, and in that sense, it's quite an enjoyable experience for me. The New Year, New Me book tag is kind of a slightly reflective tag in which you think about the future, think about the past, and kind of answer questions based on these different virtues. So things like, what are your fears? What are you really excited to do? So like fears, patience, growth, new paths, forging ahead, goals and breaking walls, and teamwork. So I shall be answering a question for each one of those words that is in the tag. And yeah, we'll have a good time with it. And hopefully you learn something about me. And as I ponder these questions, I learn something about myself as well. Before we get into all of that, be sure to grab a nice cuppa to enjoy this alongside the video. I have a nice coffee because it's still the morning here, and it will help stimulate my brain to give some fantastic answers and some fantastic insights into me, my life, and my reading. Do you like books and reading? Do you like booktube content? Well, Ru with the Books has you for all of your booktube reading and booktube content needs. Just be sure to press the like button to throw your support his way, put a comment down below to chat with him, and be sure to press the subscribe button to get in Ru's good books. Haha. Ka-ching! Now that I've gotten all of that out of the way, let's answer some fun little questions and think about what is in store for 2026. Let's get at it. Question number one is to do with fears, and it is, what is one book from your 2026 reading goals that scares you? And to be honest, it's whatever Stephen King I'm going to be reading, because his books are really scary. Just kidding. To be honest, my answer for this is going to be the Wheel of Time books, The Eye of the World, which I believe is the first one, because once I start reading this book, unless I plan to DNF the series, which is unlikely, it's going to set off, it's going to essentially straddle me in right into a roller coaster that I can't get out of, because the Wheel of Time is a really, really, really long series that rewards patience because of the immense world building, the character journeys, all of that stuff. So yeah, that is one book that I'm scared of, just because once I get started with it, it's going to start a really, really, really long journey for me. Kind of like when I first got into One Piece, although because that's anime and manga, it's quite easy to get through, at least the manga. Slight tangent, but if you want to get into One Piece and you're like, should I read the manga or watch the anime? Well, the manga will catch you up in approximately 3 times less time. So if you want to just blitz straight through, that's the one. But yes, Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, Wheel of Time is my fear. But we conquer our fears, and so I will be starting the Wheel of Time this year, no doubt about it. And once I get there, you can definitely follow my journey. I will be making updates in terms of either review videos or kind of just talking about those books that I read in my Talking Books videos. Question number 2 relates to patience, and the question is, what is the one book on your 2026 reading goals you want to start immediately? And here is the problem with these kind of belated book tags, because if you'd asked me about 3-4 weeks ago, I would have said Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, because I have been really, really excited to read that book. Now, I have already read The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, and I'm on book 2 at the moment, because I am what I am what am I talking about? I am in what I want to call Farseer February at the moment. Now, I did start Farseer February a little bit early to be able to try power through a good amount of that, because The Realm of the Elderlings is a really, really long, expansive series, an expansive, broad, breathtaking universe. So Farseer February starts a little early, so I can actually get into that. So that is the answer number one of what I would have answered had I been able to do this tag earlier. So instead, I'm going to say that my actual book that I want to start immediately is the next Dungeon Crawler Carl book, This Inevitable Ruin. First of all, because one of my reading goals for the year is to catch up to the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. First, it's kind of a two-parter. The first part is to, first of all, just catch up before the release of the next book, so that I can enjoy this next book with the series. With the fandom. And then the second part is to read the new book that is set to come out later in the year and enjoy it with the fandom, and hopefully make a video about it and kind of spark some discussion about things that we enjoyed and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the reason I also wanted to start, aside from my reading goals for the year, this book is because a lot of pieces have kind of built up over the course of the series, and some of these pieces have led to whatever moments are about to happen in this next book. It's kind of like this Jenga tower has been built up, and we've been taking pieces out, and we're about to take out the piece that's going to topple everything. So just because I've been a fan of this series for a couple years now, and so much has led on to what is going to happen in this book, I am so excited to get to it, and I want to start it immediately. Although I also want to actually enjoy my time with Farseer at the moment, because I'm on book 2, as I already said. So I'm stuck between two answers here, unfortunately. But that is both of them. And yeah, let me know what you think of Dungeon Crawler Carl or Farseer, if you like either of those or don't like either of those. Let me know. So question number 3 relates to growth. And the question is, what book last year pushed you to reflect and or grow as a reader? And this is such a difficult question to answer, because I spent a lot of time last year reading books that are really out of my comfort zone, out of what I typically read. So I've stepped out of pure fantasy and young adult into horror, contemporary fiction, historical fiction, stuff like that. So I'm going to quickly go through a few books that I think helped me grow as a reader. And then I'll talk about one specifically that I really, really enjoyed and has become one of my top 5-10 books, and why I enjoyed it so much. So I read Sula by Toni Morrison as actually one of the first contemporary fiction books I read last year. And that was a great moment, because Toni Morrison is a widely beloved, see what I did there, author, because she goes into very heavy topics and has these amazing character-driven stories that can really shock you, and they're very, very kind of emotionally gut-wrenching and powerful, and there's a lot of great words you can use to describe her stories. Catch-22 by Joseph Heller is an absolutely incredible book. It's so emotionally devastating, but it also makes you laugh in such a weird, contrasting way that it's just absolutely, it's undescribable. It's one of those books you really have to read to understand, and it's a book that's very polarizing, because what, in my opinion, makes it so great is actually a massive turnoff for other people. Then I read The Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie. I really wanted to kind of read the story for a while, because I listened to maybe the first couple chapters of audiobooks, and I already am not very good with audiobooks because information goes in one ear and out the other. But for this book, it was doubly so. There were some moments that I remembered and did make me laugh, so I kind of decided to quit while I'm ahead and not listen to the audiobook, because I'm not going to really gain anything out of it. So yeah, I ended up reading the book physically, not physically, on my Kindle, sorry. And it was really, really good, but it really, really challenged me because Salman Rushdie has this very kind of eclectic way of writing where there's a kind of like magical realism within it that kind of is very difficult to kind of pick through and understand. But there's also a lot of the story is centered around the law about the Prophet Muhammad, and I'm really not well versed in that kind of religious theology. So a lot of the content in this book was out of my depth. And while I did actually enjoy those stories within the book, I feel like I just hadn't done my required homework before getting into this book. So maybe this book has kind of revealed some holes in my knowledge. I don't think, at least for the books that I read, there's going to be a lot of that. But I definitely think I could kind of brush up on that kind of content and read this book again to gain more from it, because it is a really, really good book and it's really funny at times. It's got a lot of things going for it. But yeah. Right, next up, I have Child of God by Cormac McCarthy. Now, I don't think this is one of Cormac McCarthy's finest works. I've heard that Blood Meridian is amazing, and it's really, really graphic and dark and horrible. And then No Country for Old Men is really, really good as well, which sounds a lot more kind of plot-driven and exciting. Anyway, what I gained from Cormac McCarthy's works, at least Child of God, is that Cormac McCarthy is an absolute kind of dictionary warrior. In a good way. He finds the exact precise word that kind of describes a situation. It fits so perfectly within the pocket of the sentence that it just kind of blows your mind, because it's kind of like building a jigsaw, and he actually is creating this jigsaw, and all of it is put together. The sentence is the jigsaw, and there's one piece missing. And he carves this piece out himself to just fit so perfectly into this jigsaw that it's really, really amazing. And then Lord of the Flood. Sorry. Anyway, this kind of book was challenging because I did have to spend a lot of time looking up words, their definitions, to try and make kind of sense of these sentences. And so it was really, really rewarding because I got to enjoy his amazing prose, his kind of surgical precision in the way that he writes his sentences. And the patience I had to do this and keep reading this book helped me grow, because it showed me that if you stick to something and you try to enjoy it in the way it was kind of created to be enjoyed, it is really rewarding. And finally, in my little mini list, is Lord of the Flies. And I think reading classics is challenging because the kind of prose is written in such a way that it's not modern and what we're used to. So you really have to spend extra time, maybe go back on sentences sometimes, and try to read it almost through a different lens of like the historical relevancy and context. Anyway, Lord of the Flies is quite approachable in my opinion. It's just an example. I think reading classics can be challenging, but it's also fun, rewarding, all of those things. So yeah, anyway, the one book I'm going to choose is Catch-22 because it's just so emotionally devastating, and the kind of character work it does is amazing. What I have learned is stuff about the war and kind of essentially to actual how it feels to be these characters in the war, and obviously it's kind of obvious, like people are in danger, it's really, really bad, but those kind of profound inner monologues you get from Miss Arian, they really help shine a light on the situation and give you so much empathy for the characters in this book. So yeah, for that reason I'm going to choose Catch-22. And once again, it's a bit of a choppy story. Things are all over the place, And this book rewards patience because it's a bit confusing, but as everything culminates, the pieces do fit together. And once you see the picture, you do just understand. So yeah, this year has been one of patience and sticking to things and experiencing the rewards of said patience. Anyway, that was a bit of a long-winded answer, but I wanted to show that the growth and reflection I gained wasn't just in one specific book. It was very multifaceted. I learned a lot about my reading taste last year, and I enjoyed a lot of very, very good books. Question 4 is new paths, and that is, what is one author you plan to try for the first time in 2026? I'm going to go back to the first question, which is the one that scared me. And in that case, I'm going to answer Robert Jordan because he is such a beloved author, because The Wheel of Time is a really, really popular series. And I've just not read it yet. So I will be trying Robert Jordan for the first time in 2026. I did try Brandon Sanderson for the first time last year, and that was fun. So, you know, from one kind of fantasy behemoth into the next, one that's been famous and popular for an even longer amount of time. And funnily enough, because Robert Jackson unfortunately passed away before finishing or being able to finish The Wheel of Time, he enlisted the help of Brandon Sanderson to finish it off. So they are both kind of involved in this Wheel of Time project and adventure for myself. So yeah, funny how things work like that. But yes, very excited to read some Robert Jordan. There's too many Roberts in the world. Number 5 is self-care, and that is, what is one book and or series you revisit for comfort? And to be honest, I am not much of a comfort reader, or at least comfort rereader. I do read for comfort. I do like cozy fantasy and all cozy books in general. But anyway, so as I said, I don't really reread, but I did recently read The Princess Bride, and I absolutely loved that book. And as my little kind of segment in the Talking Books video that I made recently, I talked about The Princess Bride, and I did say that this is one book that I can actually see myself coming back to reread, because it really is about the magic of storytelling, and there is so much excitement. And while all of these terrible, like incredibly terrible things do happen to people in this book, regardless of that, it still feels really kind of feel good, just because of the kind of things that William Goldman kind of has to say about the book and just what the characters go through, this kind of found family trope that it incorporates. It's just so incredibly feel good, as I said. So while I don't see myself rereading books, if I do ever choose to reread a book, it will probably be The Princess Bride by William Goldman. Question number 6 is on the topic of forging ahead, and it is, what is your favorite debut book or first book in a series that you read last year? And I will actually give an answer for each of those, a debut book and a book for the first in a series. So for the first kind of debut is The Last Fire Hunter by Selene Goldenberg. It's a fantasy, almost kind of like a Monster Hunter fantasy, set in a rich Thai-inspired world. So you get kind of mentions of the food that people eat in this culture. You get mentions of the clothes that they wear. And there's lots of like rich, lush jungle environments. And the magic system is based kind of in Buddhism and stuff like that. So there's also Asian mythology and religion kind of integrated into the magic system in that series. And I really enjoyed it. It had some great moments, and it was really, really impressive for a debut book. It did have some things that I did not love about it. Like, I wasn't a big fan of the romance within it, but it did kind of fit into the book towards the end, and it worked. I also wished that it went more for the Monster Hunter theme, because halfway into the book kind of steers away in a completely different direction. And while it does work better for the storytelling and having a good kind of concise, cohesive plot, I did think that this monster hunting aspect was really, really cool. And the magic system works mostly to kind of as a means for that to work. So I didn't get to enjoy the magic system as much as I wanted to because of that. But it was a really, really good debut book, and it made me really care about these characters, and I did really enjoy them. And the second book is coming out later this year, or I think later this year. But yeah, I was really, really impressed by this debut. And then for the second one is the first book in a series that I read last year. And when I read this book, it was the first book in the series. I guess it still is the first book in the series. What I mean is it was the only book in the series at the time, and now there is a second book in the series, which was a good follow-up. Anyway, enough rambling there. It was The Will of the Many by James Islington. I loved the academia stuff. I loved the mysteries. I loved the characters. I loved the action. I loved the oh my gosh moments. And how all of these things were combined into a kind of amazing package that was high stakes, exciting, fun, and took your breath away at moments. I liked where the character came from. I liked how he progressed throughout the story. I liked what I read of the magic system. There was a lot of things I liked, and it was an absolutely fantastic start to a series. Now, the second book, take things even further. It gets really crazy. That's not what this is about. It's about the first book. And yeah, that was my favorite first book in a series that I read last year. Unless I'm missing something, but I don't think I am. It was absolutely fantastic. Question number 7 is goals. Do you have a specific reading goal or challenge for the year ahead? To answer this question, simply, bluntly, concisely, the answer is yes. I have made a whole video about my reading goals for 2026. So I'll put a little card somewhere that you can click, which will take you to this video, because it's quite a long video. It's not incredibly long, but I don't want to be kind of rehashing all of those things that I've already said in that video for 20-25 minutes. So you can go check that out if you so wish, if that interests you. And hopefully, if you do, you can join along with some of these reading goals with me, because I think we'll be in for a good time. Question number 8 is a bonus question. Do you have a non-book related goal for 2026 you wish to share? It's not incredibly exciting, but yes, I do. I would like to learn how to drive in 2026. I have already started this process. I started this year. I am currently learning the driving theory, and I'm doing kind of theory tests for that every single day. I've got my test booked for it. I've got about a month as of the recording of this video to continue my studying. I think I'm making good progress. Once I do that, once I pass, I shall start my actual driving lessons. Driving a car, you know, in my mum's car. I'm joking, my mum doesn't drive. Yes, if I don't actually pass my driving exam this year, that's no biggie. Of course, it would be nice, but I think so long as I can actually, you know, so long as I've actually driven a car, learned about the different parts, and I'm comfortable on the road, regardless of whether I pass or not. Of course, you know, I mean, comfortable just driving a car, because in the driving lessons, you do actually drive a car. That would be awesome. And then to take that further, would love to actually pass my driving test and then buy a car. That would be really, really exciting. So that's my non-book related goal. I'm not doing any of this kind of TV or movie talk stuff or game talk. This is a book channel. I had a little go at doing the One Piece reviews, but to be honest, with my my work schedule at the moment, I just can't do it. I don't have the time. So unfortunately, I've had to forsake it, even though I did have a lot of fun making those videos, and it was cool to draw in a different audience. But yeah, anyway, so that's my goal, to learn how to drive, aside from the book stuff. Question number 9 is not really a question, it's a task for me, which is to go ahead and tag some other people. So I will do that and put them in the description below. They will be tagged. If you've been tagged, please go ahead and do this tag if you wish. I'm not forcing you though. I'll watch your video and see what your answers are. Hopefully learn about some of your goals, your reflections of the year and stuff like that. It'll be very, very exciting. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have made it this far, I hope that you complete all of your reading goals for 2026. Be sure to document them and put them in the description below, not the description, the comment section below, because I would love to hear about your reading goals and to have a kind of discussion about them. You know, it's fun to share what our plans are. It keeps us motivated, keeps us accountable, stuff like that. Yes, so if you did enjoy this video, that's awesome. Please press the like button, put a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel for more booktube content. I do my best to upload once a week, although I do have a very, very busy life at the moment, with work and stuff like that. I don't have a consistent schedule, so that makes it very hard, because sometimes I just don't have the time to actually make a video. So I'm doing my best for once a week, but if not, then every other week at least. So yes, I do have some social media down below in the description that you can check out if you want to connect with me outside of YouTube. I've got an Instagram, I've got a TikTok, I've got a Goodreads, I've got a Storygraph. I think that's all I have. Maybe I have something else, who knows? So yeah, if you'd like to do that, you can go ahead and do that. And enough yapping from me. That's the end of the video, and Ru is out. Goodbye. See you next time.